Ayan, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, mga Popshies and Munchies. And so mega shoutout po sa ating 1,000 viewers for today. Ayan. Oops. Ayan, so as you can see guys, meron tayong hello, Kudi. May kawat sa'yo, Pops. Si Pops Colby ba to? Thank you po sa pagbisita. Ayan, so it's really sad news na early this morning, bago ako pumasok sa work, I heard the bad news about what happened for our brothers and sisters in Lebanon. It's very sad kasi even though I've never been in Lebanon, uh, because my previous work, employer ko is coming from Lebanon, and I've been working in Kids Mondo. It's like a kids savings, and they have the mother branch there, the Kids Mondo, what we call, and it's really sad to know what happened for our brothers and sisters in Lebanon. Nga. I don't know what's the cause of that explosion, big explosion, diba? So, pero nakakaano lang, nakakalungkot lang kasi imagine mo, those innocent people, they are affected on what happened for that very explosive or kung ano yung ginawa. I don't know. Hindi ko pa masyado siyang na-detail yung news about it. Pero nakakasad lang kasi nakita ko yung damage, super laki. Watch natin yung mga news about sa explosion sa very first Lebanon. Let's watch this. So ang sabi-sabi nila, it's ano yung mga that's impossible kung it's a factory of fireworks or what. Diba? Watch this, guys. So further recovery is suspected. So I'm watching for the other screen, guys. Medyo fast-forward natin siya. Ayan. Ano kayang oras nangyari ito? Do you have any idea, guys, kung what time nangyari ito? Yes, let's pray for Lebanon, to the COVID. I hope especially those kababayan and Filipinos out there, nakakalungkot lang kasi alam mo, may nakita akong isang clip kanina while I'm at work. I think they're from Philippines and my God, as in duguan sila. And they were asking for help. If you're going to watch it, mga paps and guys, yung paano yung big impact nung sumabog siya. And I can imagine if nangyari yan sa Pilipinas, diba? Siguro ang dami mga... I think nangyari yata siya sa tabi ng pier. Pero grabe yung impact. So let's fast forward. Nakakalungkot. Paano lang yung mga bata, yung nandun. As in super kawa. Actually, hindi lang mga Lebanese people ang affected doon. Lahat sila. For sure, there are a lot of foreigners out there. Mga expat. Nakakalungkot. So itong stream like this for about 18 hours ago. I think almost 72 people na yung mga namatay doon. Tapos, may dalawang Pinoy. Based on dun sa news na nakita ko, may dalawang Pinoy na namatay. And then, 11 are still missing. Could you imagine that? So, ito yan. Ito yung
Breaking
clip.
news from Lebanon. The capital, Beirut, has been hit by a massive explosion. Dozens of people are said to be injured, and there are some reports of people trapped under the rubble. The cause of the blast is not yet known. It's caused widespread damage and appears to be centered on the city's port area.
Grabe.
It is the wave, the blast wave has turned cars upside down. Absolute devastation in the Lebanese capital. Sadly, a country that is used to explosions, but this is of an entire different magnitude altogether. I'm joined here in the studio by my colleague, Joel Adalboy, to talk about this breaking news story. This is altogether something else. We haven't seen anything like that in Lebanon in recent contemporary times.
And these pictures we've been seeing are just incredible, and lots of people have been sharing them on social media that have been captured from the city. You see a massive explosion,
It's a
huge
massive
white
explosion.
cloud, and then there's another cloud inside that seems to be of a different color, red and so forth. And if you look closely at some of these images, you can see what appears to be flashes inside those clouds. And what we're hearing from some of the state media reports is could have been involved, there could have been fireworks involved. There's some suggestion that
But
may
that's
have taken
impossible
place
kung
in an area where
ano yun,
fireworks were still,
kung fireworks,
all of this is
kung may
conjecture.
fireworks
It
na
hasn't
involved
happened in the last half hour. We're still just trying to find out what's going on there. And also, we have no idea how many people may or may not be injured in this, but an explosion of that magnitude, you have to assume that there has to be somebody has been hurt as a result of this.
And as you rightly point out, Joe, we can't rule
Diba?
anything out at
That's
this
impossible
point.
kung ano yung mga parts. Kung mga fireworks. Kung fireworks din, may mga ano.
Lebanese capital. Some are presuming that this
May
could
mga
have been
spark
an
na
industrial accident. Again, I want to caution our viewers as well. We just don't know yet. This is still a very fluid situation. And I want to point out that you're watching live pictures from the area. I mean, an absolute massive explosion, and it comes just at such a terrible time for the country. Its economy in doldrums, protests happening since months, and well, we just are left to wonder what's going on in the minds of the Lebanese as, again, sadly, they have to deal with this explosion.
So some more of what we're hearing from people on social media who were there in the city. There may have been at least 2 explosions that have been heard across the city. We know that the blast knocked windows out as far as 10 kilometers away from the area where it happened, which again was in the port district of the city. So kilometers away, people's windows were broken, and we can see cars overturned on the road, and it's just sending plumes of smoke up into the sky. And as you said, Leila, this is a city that's certainly not its share of trouble, and you would expect that that the people there, they well, look at these images; they're just really quite incredible, aren't they?
Billowing smoke, billowing there from what we presume is the port area. There are live pictures that will show you mangled buildings as well. We're going to keep track of the story. You're going to keep track on this breaking news story for us. And well, now we're getting reports of dozens of people injured.
Grabe. Ito sa Philippine News.
Magandang umaga po. Dalawang Pilipino ang nasawi sa pagsabog sa Beirut, Lebanon kahapon. 6 na iba pa ang sugatan. Ayon sa Department of Foreign Affairs, nasa bahay ng kanilang employee, 2 nasawi nang nangyari ang pagsabog. Tinatayang nasa 23,000 ang mga Pilipino sa Lebanon. Karamihan sa kanila ay nasa Greater Beirut. Hindi bababa sa 78 ang patay habang halos 4,000 ang nasugatan sa pagsabot. Nagdeklara si Lebanon Prime Minister Hassan Diab na day of mourning ngayong Miyerkules. Hindi pa matukoy kung sino ang nasa likod ng pagsabot. Patuloy na iniimbestigahan ng mga otoridad ang insidente.
My God, 4,000.
Bahagyang tumaas ang inflation o ang bilis ng pagmahal ng bigyan at mga serbisyo sa bansa nitong Hulyo na
which is, of course, something that could be expected, seeing from the devastation that we're seeing right now. Joel Dahl, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for bringing us the very latest. Do come back, please, to fill us in on
information from our Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen. He has said, and you might have heard this a few minutes ago, some local reports have suggested
Lebanese, very high number of injuries.
Storage warehouse. Jeremy goes on to say, tensions high on the southern border of the country with Israel. Many other scenarios are being discussed on social media. So clearly, there is one theory out there that this might have been an industrial accident in what several of our guests have described as an industrial area, a warehouse. But clearly, Jeremy Bowen, our Middle East editor, put this into the wider context of Lebanon. And we know from speaking to others that every time there is an explosion,
Paano nalaman kayo yung very near na mga tao na nakatira doon? Diba?
someone who knows the country very well, Sebastian Usher, he's on the line now. Sebastian, yes, well, I mean, it's something where you immediately think of what the cause is, and you look at Beirut, you look at Lebanon, and you think the chief thing is the cause. When you look at the pictures, when you look at the testimony, when you see the damage, when you hear from people who are kilometers away and their windows have been destroyed, and offices have even inside are completely over, and it looks like a war zone. Then you just have to think that in itself, whatever this was, this is just a huge, major incident that is in Beirut. And as you were saying in that introduction, obviously it's a city that has experienced this so often in the past. And
Imagine yung mga parts. Middle East na yun. Ang mga Middle East, pagdating sa mga sundalo niya, compare sa atin, I'm not referring or comparing yung mga soldiers natin sa Philippines compare sa kanila. Lahat sila is kompleto. Well-trained, very strict pagdating sa mga security. And syempre, ito is very biglaan yun, di ba? Parang very unusual. Parang you don't expect na mangyayari itong ganitong sitwasyon. You don't expect what would for that day. That's why they're not prepared about it. And I doubt if this one is the cost of a company, the fireworks case show going down, I don't think so.
But my first reaction is that,
and I've heard, and based on dun sa scam ko na news, it has same explosion nung Hiroshima sa Japan. Diba? And whoever thought kaya, or sino kaya ang may kasalanan sa ganitong sitwasyon.
Everywhere in Beirut, particularly, it's just an explosion of this nature and almost unparalleled. It's a kind of explosion, there's this shockwave which happens.
I think 2020 is not a good year for all of us kasi because of 2020, ang daming
and this is what's happened, feeding through. You can see it go through all the networks between people in Lebanon and outside, trying to work this one out, trying to see who might be behind it. And of course, that will add to the tensions that
situations
that, essentially Beirut is always it has that sense that it's on the cusp of something bad happening.
Volcanoes sa Pilipinas, nagkaroon ng pandemic,
Economic collapse, sectarian
nagkaroon ng gulo sa Japan,
so
China,
it can only add to that beyond
gera sa India,
the human cost.
diba? Could you imagine that, guys? What is happening in our world?
By the numbers of people walking in with wounds. Sebastian, brings up today remind us of that delicate political balance that exists in Lebanon between the various sects. Well, yes. I mean, it's a system which has been in place since the end of the long-running war, which was finally that was kind of ended, but never quite. It was never really resolved back in 1990 after 16 years, and that lays down a system where each of the powerful sects has one of the major positions of state. So the president is a Christian, the prime minister is a Sunni Muslim, and the speaker is a Shia. Now we've seen in recent this wave of anti-government protests has been against the whole system as it ended. Now those protests were motivated both with anger and its problems and its inability to bring Lebanon out of the state that's been always years, the corruption, the sense that the people always come last. And then that's been hugely exacerbated by the economic collapse that there's been, which has really raced ahead in the past 2 or 3 months. The currency now, which used to be pegged at about 1,500 to the dollar, is now running on the black market to 8,000 or 9,000. So people are having their savings almost completely wiped out. People weren't able to get any of their dollars out of banks. And this is a country which relies on imports of dollars. So you're seeing that desperation happening. There are warnings that there could be real hunger on the streets within the next few months if the situation isn't rectified in some way. There's a government in place which no one really trusts. There are deals that they're trying to do with the IMF to bring money in. That hasn't worked out as yet. The situation has slightly stabilized as far as the currency is concerned, but on the streets, that's had no effect. So people who never had much trust in their politicians, in the elite, have completely rejected them now, but there's nothing to take their place as yet. So you have a country which is almost leaderless, which is an economic freefall, whose sects have never really been reconciled properly. There's been a paper-thin way of trying to give everybody answering their interests so that they keep relatively quiet. Money, that those personal connections and favors are no longer working. So you have, a very inflammable situation, and here you have a huge explosion. Now, hopefully, and this is pure speculation, it will turn out that there wasn't an actor behind us, that this was an actor.
Sino kaya yung behind this kind of explosion?
Have to deal with the aftermath, which is going to be terrible enough, but may not have to deal with the consequences of if this was actually
I'm watching the news.
a plan that somebody has made in order to take the country further down the abyss that it's been staring at.
Imagine mo may COVID na.
The people of Beirut.
Tapos nangyari pa yung ganitong explosion, di ba? I've heard na meron pa mga naiwan na tao sa ilalim ng ano. Di ba? Ang kalungkot. Ayan, mega shoutout po sa ating 3,000 viewers. Salamat po sa pagbisita. This is live. Live the report after a powerful blast. Ito yung live. Oh, I'm so sad. Okay. Oh my God, ganun nangyari. Yung building, ganun pa naman nangyari. So, 1,059. Ay, naku, nakakapang
Information from
nakakapanglumo,
our editor,
nakakapanghinayang.
Jeremy Bowen. He has said, you might have heard this a few minutes ago, some local reports have suggested that
The destruction is overwhelming. This is the port in Lebanon's capital, Beirut. Rubble everywhere. Buildings blasted open. Vehicles flipped and smashed. Those caught in it, those who survived, and bloody. Hospitals already struggling to cope with COVID-19, now filled with so many blast victims, some are being treated outside. Officials say at least 78 people are known to have died and almost 4,000 are injured. The Red Cross has put out an urgent appeal for blood donors. Lebanon has a history of conflict and of bombings, but the scale of this is like nothing else. Good evening and thanks for joining us. The massive explosion was so powerful, the shock wave was felt hundreds of kilometers away. Lebanon's internal security chief says it happened in an area in the port that housed highly explosive materials. The cause is not clear yet, but as Crystal Mansing reports, the damage.
The massive plume of black smoke rising up over the port, impossible to miss. Mixed into that smoke, flashes of light believed to be fireworks going off. Even those in cars during the evening rush hour grabbed their phones to record the dramatic scene. But no one was prepared for what came next.
Ay, wala.
An explosion so powerful, shockwaves were reportedly felt clear across the Mediterranean in Cyprus.
The glass shattered all over the car. The cars around us, the buildings spun down. Just radiating glass over the city.
Images show buildings far from the explosion site destroyed. Many people were caught on the roads, unsure of what to do next. My car's down there, he says. It rolled over. I think this injury was because of the glass. Lebanon's prime minister said the nation is
Ay,
suffering
nako.
and called on friendly neighboring countries for support. Faced with a major economic crisis and the strain of the COVID-19 pandemic, Lebanon's health system is itself ailing and now struggling to keep up with the thousands of injured people caught up in the explosion. This thought it was a container in the port that was on fire and they weren't able to put it out. Seconds later, we were flying through the air. Exactly what happened is unknown. One security official says the source of the blast was a building at the port. Material was kept. Wednesday has been declared a national day of mourning. Crystal Demancing, Global News, London.
It's not clear if there are any Canadians among the victims, though we know that nearly 11,000 Canadians are registered as being in Lebanon. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has offered Canada's support to the country, tweeting absolutely tragic news coming out of Beirut. Canadians are thinking of everyone who has been injured and all those who are trying to locate a friend or family member or who have lost a loved one. We're keeping you in our thoughts and we stand ready to assist in any way we can. And as Foreign Affairs Minister tweeted, tragic news out of Beirut today. Canada is closely monitoring the situation. Our hearts are with the victims and their families. We stand with the people of Lebanon and the diaspora during this difficult time, and we are ready to assist however we can. We urge any Canadians in need of emergency consular assistance to contact the government. Before this explosion, Lebanon was already crippled by the worst economic crisis in years. Decades of political mismanagement, corruption, and overspending have accelerated in recent months.
Nakakalungkot lang po.
Information from our Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen. He has said, you might have heard this a few minutes ago, some local reports have suggested that the explosion was an accident in a fireworks storage warehouse. But Jeremy goes on to say, tensions high.
It's impossible na fireworks
Israel,
storage.
many other scenarios are being discussed on social media. So
I doubt.
Need a professional website? I created one for our startup using Wix. First, good.
And even the police cars. Nagdamage pala. May kulay.
Now.
May kulay. Even the soldiers nagkaroon ng goodness. Nakakalungkot naman.
This city is no stranger to explosions, but absolutely nothing like this. Nothing like this before. Let me just give you a taster of what they're waking up to this morning. There are devastated buildings. This is in the heart of Jamaica. It's one of the most congested areas. It's one of the busiest areas. This area was full of people last night when the explosions happened. Almost for streets and streets around, this is devastation wherever you look. I mean, we can't even show you how high the area is. Let's try and cross the road. Loads of people are just trying to get out of the city. But look at the state of some of the businesses. Just many of them reduced to rubble. We have maybe have a chat to these people and see if morning guys. Do you talk English? Yeah. Tell me, where were you last night when the explosion first happened? You're sitting at home. Lucky for you.
We're thankful that you're still alive. At the end of the day, it's not just me, it's the whole of Lebanon, everyone is having its own share of this tragedy, So it's okay.
I'm just trying to convey to the viewers back in Britain who you're broadcasting to now just how big this is and how shocked everyone was here at this. I mean, you've not seen anything like it.
No, we're still under shock. That's why we're still trying to, we're still trying to get to know what's happening. We don't know what's happening. We don't know if the explosion is what's happening.
Do you mind if we have a look at your business?
Yeah.
Quickly come and show us what it's like, and we'll show you. I mean, a lot of it is very uncertain around here. There's a lot of hanging buildings, whole balconies disappeared. I mean, you as you say, you've still got product in there which is still standing. Some people have lost everything.
Yes,
and their homes.
We just locked the doors, as you see, and it's not that major. It's minor,
compared to many others.
Yes. If you walk in Jamaica, it's like a desert right now.
Yeah, we're just at the edge of Jamaica. Yeah, it is like a war zone. People said when it went off, many people spoke about it, likening it to a nuclear bomb.
Exactly.
You think
the hydrogen bomb, not the nuclear bomb. It's so powerful. It was so powerful. I don't know if it's a bomb or it's a mistake, fabrication mistake or something at the board, but I think it's a bomb. For sure it's a bomb.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you. We'll just show you another street. I mean, they brought the soldiers.
For sure, it's a bomb. It's not a bomb. It's a fire. It's impossible na fireworks yan. My goodness.
Lebanon, look here, another street devastated. We'll be bringing you updates throughout the morning and trying to show you more about the huge devastation.
Diba? Ay, nako. So, ito yung aerial shot. As in, nawala yung part. Ng ulan. As in, napulbo siya. Diba? So yun nga mga popshies and momshies out there for the Lebanon, yung mga of course there's human being, diba? Alam mo yun, yung nakakamangka kasi may pandemic na nangyari about the COVID-19, diba? Tapos yung sitwasyon pa natin nangyari today. So nakakalungkot. Hindi ko alam kung nangyayari sa mundo natin ngayon. Diba? So, nakaka-sad talaga. Bakit? Ito, paper natin. Ang lapit. $70 people.
That there has been one Australian who's been killed, which is terribly devastating.
سيدفع المسؤولون عن هذه الكارثة الثمن. هذا وعد بالشهداء وللجرحى. هذا التزام وطني. باليابان بهيروشيما وناكازاكي هسه بذكرني ما شفت بحياتي دمار بهالكبر وبهالوسع وبهالنكبه، هيدي نكبه وطنيه.
Imagine nyo mga paps and mga momshies. Beirut na yan. Kompleto sila sa mga gadgets nila, sa mga police, sa mga military. Di ba? Kaloko. So yun na nga mga popshies and manches. Kayo, ano yung mga sa loob niyo sa mga nangyari or mga kaganapan na nangyari sa mundo? Diba? So ako, on my own opinion, hindi talaga siya fireworks. Hindi siya company ng fireworks na nagkaroon ng aberya sa isang company or what. Feeling ko, pinaplanuhan yan. Ang sabi nga nung it's like Hiroshima. Diba? And hindi ko alam kung ano yung Hiroshima days kasi I was not born yet. And for sure, yung impact niya, it's really a very huge explosive or explosion na nangyari. Diba? Just like what I mentioned a while ago, nakakaawa yung mga taong nakapaligid dun sa mismong area kung saan naginanap yun. And then a lot of people na affected for sure. Paano lang yung mga innocents or the younger one na tao or di ba alam mo yun. Tapos imagine mo, burnout na yan mga pouches and momshes, di ba? Ano sila, mga high-tech na mga yan pagdating sa mga military, pagdating sa mga gear, pagdating sa mga emergency cases, ganyan. Diba? Let's just imagine pag nangyari yan sa Pilipinas. Diba? I don't think so kung ano mangyayari. Pero, sa bagay, ang dami na natin mga bagyo na pagdaanan, pero iba yung sitwasyon na yun eh. Diba? Iba yung, it's far different from our situation, yung sitwasyon nila. Ang ulan, yun, nagbaha, nagyolanda, etc. Lumubog, lahat-lahat na kaya ng Pilipinas. Diba? Pero ganong biglaan, di ba? Parang in a snap, bigla lahat nawala. Di ba? So, if I were you, dapat we have to live our life to the fullest. Okay? Huwag natin masyadong isipin or dibdibin yung mga bagay-bagay na hindi dapat kailangan. Let's just focus for the present. Huwag mo natin isipin yung kinabukas or yung mga susunod. Let's just look forward for what we're gonna happen for the next few years, few days, diba? What's most important is we live our life to the fullest. Good. So let's just pray for the Lebanon. Yun lang masasabi ko. Okay? Ano pa ba? So yun. End ko muna live natin ngayon. Thank you for watching mga days and hope to see you once again. Bye!